Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Weihrauch. And in today's episode, we are processing the election results because the results are in, and we now know that former President Donald Trump is now President-elect Donald Trump, winning in really a landslide victory, at least at the time of this recording, seemingly having won every battleground state, winning the popular vote, and even leading his party to win the Senate and maintain control of the House. It's a staggering result, and it has resulted in a lot of people feeling very strongly, either positively or negatively, because of the results. And by the way, I'm not saying that because I've watched the news or I've read that in articles. I'm saying that because I'm the pastor of a church who has filled up my email inbox with some people celebrating and other people wondering if they can continue to come to a church and sit next to people who voted a different way. And listen, I am not a political expert or a political correspondent, so I'll focus my response and remarks on how a local church, or more importantly, the Christians who make up that church, should be thinking about these election results. First, I want to challenge you to process your own immediate reaction. Oftentimes, the way we react is indicative of what we actually believe. Jesus said it this way, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. If you feel like America was headed to destruction and now has been saved, I would just challenge you that you're probably putting a little too much stock in your political candidate or political party. I want to be wary of Christians adopting a savior kind of language because A, that's putting too much on any one person, and B, is going to result in pretty massive disappointment because no one person is capable of fixing everything that is wrong with human nature. I'm not saying if you are happy with the outcome that you should feel bad about that, or that you can't think that this is a turn in the right direction. If that's your opinion, you're definitely entitled to that. But I just want to make sure that we aren't saying that Donald Trump can do for us what Jesus Christ wasn't going to or couldn't have done without him. By the way, the same thing holds in the opposite direction. If you woke up this morning and saw the results and said, oh, now we have no hope, now we are devastated, you are putting too much into Donald Trump as a villain and too much into Kamala Harris as a potential hero. Look, to both sides, I would say, if you're feeling good, I get that. If you're feeling bad, I get that. But ultimately, both of those reactions need to be chased pretty quickly by reminding yourself that your ultimate hope is in Jesus Christ, that he is the one, according to the book of Revelation, that is making all things new. The second thing I want to challenge you on is realize that there are people who love you and love Jesus, people who go to your church, who greet you at the door, who take care of your kids while you're in a worship service, who play instruments or sing to you, who probably voted the other way in this election. And their feelings matter. They may not be right. I'm not asking you to agree with their conclusion. But part of loving each other is understanding that people have different perspectives, that people value different things, that in the economy of their vote, they were seeking to understand what it looks like to pursue human flourishing and potentially even following Jesus by valuing some things over and against others. I think we got to make sure that we make space for each other to be excited or to grieve. The other part of that is believing the best about each other. You know, in 1 Corinthians 13, a great passage on love, said that love believes all things. I think a great way of understanding that is that love gives people the benefit of the doubt. People who voted in an opposite direction of me didn't do that because they're evil. And they didn't do that because they were seeking to destroy the country that I was trying to save. People who voted differently than me did so for a lot of the same reasons. I want this country to be great, so do they. I want people to flourish, so do they. We just don't agree on how to get there. Believing the best about the people who sit next to us, believing the best about our fellow Christians, is thinking that they probably had what to them were good reasons. Because after all, there's no such thing as a perfect candidate. There wasn't one in this election. There will never be one in future elections. So we're all trying to figure out what matters most in the order and value that we give our particular votes. And then lastly, I'll say this. The election is over. Nothing fundamentally about your life changed this week. The people who matter are not the people you watched on CNN or Fox or whatever news show you were watching. The people who matter in your life are not even the ones who got elected, not fundamentally. It always worries me that elections happen in November because we're headed into Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're going to be around families. A lot of us feel pretty passionately about politics. And the danger, of course, is that that could lead to some explosive conversations. Can I just challenge you to remember that it is far more important that you love people than that everyone sees things your way. It is far more important that you value your family and time with them and loving them and representing Christ to them than it is that you lord your win over them or that you lament your loss with them. Look, the reality is our country has a long way to go in a lot of ways. We may have taken some steps forward. We may have taken some steps backwards. Time will tell. But none of that matters as much as you and I loving each other and loving Jesus and trusting his kingdom to go forward. So let's get back to the work that really matters and move on from this election.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. While you're here, we'd love to ask you to hit subscribe or to like so you get future content. If you listen to the audio version too, make sure you leave a review and a comment. That really helps. Consider sharing it on social media and helping us get the word out. And hey, while you're here, check out all the other content that Christ Community Chapel is putting out, including the videos that are around me right now.